And we are back. Bryan Broaddus, as I take a sip. Yo,
Whoa,
ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Hey, wait a minute. You said you weren't going to be drinking on the show. What's going on now?
We weren't recording when I said that, so it didn't happen.
Oh, okay. It didn't happen.
we were not recording when I said that,
We're
so it didn't
doing all
happen.
right. We're doing all right.
You
Good
damn
for
right.
You, man.
We doing fine, Bryan.
Doing all right.
Hey, it's something light. We ain't doing nothing crazy. Just a little work.
No.
Man, we got.
I had a high school reunion golf tournament today, and shout out to all my guys. I'm sure some of them are listening. And old W.T. White High School here in North Dallas, and they kept trying to get me to drink beers with them. And I had a couple, and then like the third or fourth one, I was thinking about, I can't. I've got a podcast tonight. And here
you was wrong.
My partner in crime. My partner in crime is already into the vino tonight.
You was wrong. You should have had 7 to catch me.
Yeah, I should have done that. All right, then I'm going to make you answer the first question. Friday nights, everybody out there that listens to us knows what's going on.
Yes, sir.
Friday nights, the nights for questions. So if you're new to the program, welcome very much for being here. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
And the second thing is on Friday nights that Voch and I ask each other questions, and we kind of dive into this Cowboy game a little bit, or any kind of Cowboy thoughts we might have. And Voch, I'll start with this one with you for the night, if we could.
Yes, sir.
If Diggs is not able to go in this game against Atlanta, he has the slight calf tear. What is your confidence in this Cowboys pass defense?
Well, Bryan, this game and moving forward, really the next few games, I watched Houston and New York last night. Yeah. And you don't wish injury on nobody, but like you always say, nobody's going to feel bad for you.
Right.
So Houston's coming up. So I think that's a team that's not going to challenge you too much in that way. But I think in general, you're going to run into a lot of teams with a lot of good wide receivers. And I think other teams are going to be able to score points regardless. I think other teams are going to be able to score points regardless, no matter who you got healthy on defense. I just think they're gonna try to put points on you at a very rapid pace. I think if the Cowboys are gonna win games, I don't think Trey Diggs has nothing to do with it. Trey Diggs can help make a stop here or there. It'll be nice to get some of them turnovers that he used to get. Maybe that's a philosophical conversation we can have in the offseason, Bryan. But I think if the Cowboys are gonna win football games, it has a lot more to do with the offense than Trey Diggs and his calf.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm trying to kind of figure out if Diggs is unable to go, how this is going to work out. How are you going to play? We'll see what happens with Carson. No Bland this week again. So yeah, you're in a little bit of a bind with maybe having to play McQuamu. Yeah. I know that there was some talk about potentially playing Jordan Lewis outside. But if you're one of those guys or gals that really likes metrics, like I'm learning that, you're one of the better nickel teams in the league because of Jordan Lewis playing. And what's the Falcons going to do? They're going to try and attack you with through the slot, whether that's Moody or London. They're going to put one of those guys inside, and that's a matchup that you actually can hold up if, with Lewis having to play against those guys. But it's the other positions that are going to be a little bit of a problem. We'll see what happens. Does that mean more McQuamu? We're going to get some practice squad elevations.
So, Bryan, let me ask you this. I was just about to say, I looked it up on our lads. That's our depth chart website. Yeah. And you can look at the practice squad guys and, some of the guys on the roster there. How far away from – because, look, we just microphone and camera guys, right?
Right,
But we really like Keemon Hall, and we feel like he has some dog in him, and he can help you out a little bit. I would much rather have him in the nickel than, like, Israel or something like that. Israel is still a big, tall, 6'4" guy with long legs. So if he has to go against one of those quick, twitchy nickel dudes, I think that'll be a problem for him. How far are we away from, like you said, Bryan, going to the practice squad and bringing up somebody from there like Keemon Hall?
Yeah, this might be a weekend that you see that. What do you got with the two guys you got there? You mentioned Hall, who did some really good things in training camp, had a pick 6 against I believe the Raiders in that game.
Sure.
I think I was right about that. But he had some good practice reps. Remember, he was intercepted Dak
Yeah.
in practice one time. I think there's Butler is
Josh
also
Butler.
on. Yeah. So, those are the two guys, that you would probably go with, if in fact, make a determination of who you would want. Whoever that is, they're probably going to have to play a lot of special teams as well. Nick Harris this morning on our show on DallasCowboys.com
Break.
on the break was talking about that. He was thinking that maybe that they would go with Butler as a special teams player instead of Hall. So we'll see how this all plays out. I'm not exactly. I am a little nervous about that if Diggs can't go. Now, nobody in the organization has told me no yet. Yesterday I know I asked some people about Diggs, and I go, well, hey, is this a situation where you're just resting the guy? And this source of mine told me, no, this is a significant injury. Then we're all kind of listening to Jerry Jones this morning on 105.3 The Fan, and he starts to talk about calf and a tear. And now immediately the antennas go up and we're like, oh, geez, this is not a good situation. They haven't ruled him out yet. But man, they always seem to side on the side of caution.
Yeah.
So the Dallas could be in a very compromised situation.
Sure.
With this secondary. But we'll see with Hall, Butler, these guys, hopefully you get Carson back, McQuamu. I mean, some guys are going to have to make some plays. Some guys are going to have to come up and make some big time plays. And then that leads to what you just said. And the second question I'd like to ask you then is, can this offense do enough just to win this game? Can the Cowboys offense do enough on its own to win this game if the defense is compromised?
The current Cowboys operation, no. The current Cowboys operation, I don't think so. Now, Brian, here's some bright side we can kind of conjure up a little bit. The young kids call it copium, right? We're just looking for hope anywhere, Brian. Yeah. Would you say, hey man, we put up some points on Pittsburgh, which is a tough defense. Baltimore is a tough like we lost.
Cleveland,
like San Francisco, we lost, but we did put points up, Brian.
Sure.
I guess the hope that people are looking for there is that the Falcons defense is nowhere near those guys. So would that mean, by way of football math, that we'll be able to put up some points on the Falcons offense because they're not as stout as the other teams?
Yeah, I mean, I want to believe that. I want to believe after watching Atlanta play defense, if you're the Cowboys, you don't need them to figure out a pass rush.
Sure.
You don't need Matthew Judon all of a sudden, who has been getting double teamed throughout, finding he's getting single blocked a lot by Steele or single blocked by Guyton. And now it's, some one-on-one wins. And then, Dak hasn't been as mobile as we've seen him in the past. Can he get away from, he can get away, but we just haven't seen it, when things really, really break down, with Dak. And that worries me right there. I worry about it all of a sudden, and they've had some problems. Like CeeDee Lamb has had problems against defenses that play off coverage.
Sure.
His man coverage numbers are good. His off coverage numbers, he's not even the leading receiver for your team when there's off coverage.
Sure.
That's Tolbert. And maybe that's a good thing with, Tolbert. If he could step up in this game, they're going to need some people to step up big time in this game. And, when you start to talk about, like I say, with Lamb, off coverage stuff, I mean, that's what these guys are going to do. They're going to give you some space. I just hope that Dallas could take advantage of the space, the cushion, get some routes, work some combinations, and hope that Dak can get some things going, because, like against the man coverage stuff, his numbers have been about 20% down from what we've seen last year.
Sure.
So, that's got to be something that they've got to kind of figure out. And I don't know. Where's your confidence though of any type of Cowboy running game?
I think we're a passing team. I think we've been begging this offense and this offensive administration, Mike McCarthy and all those guys. We've been begging them to try to find some run game for a while, and they'll say, "Hey, we should run the football, more attempts, more attempts." But we've been more attempting for 3 years now. And what we end up hearing him say, I mean, he'll tell you, I mean, this is about quarterback and perimeter receivers is what he says. So I think he values the passing game a lot more than the run game, and I don't think we're going to figure it out because we haven't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, I would like to believe that if you could find a way to kind of get the ball out on the edge with some movement with the offensive line, it seems like when just watching the Buccaneer game, they were able to create some things on the edge with the running game by pulling guys, getting some guys in space, and making Atlanta have to defend that. That's other teams doing that to them. I with Dallas is so much of an inside running team. Can they find? I think they can get the ball to the edge. I mean, I saw on a 3rd and 6. I keep bringing that up. I saw a 3rd and 6 toss sweep to Rico Dowdle that got a big chunk of yards. Kind of surprised the Steelers and was able to be a good positive play. Need to see more in that. See, the thing that bothers me the most, Voch, about this Cowboys team offensively, I don't see any plays where I feel like that, like especially in the running game, where they can hand that ball to one of those backs and it's going to be a positive gain. I mean, successful plays are 4+ yards a carry, but something that they could do down after down after down, and like, oh, they can't stop you running this. They can't stop you running this trap, or they can't stop you running this outside zone.
Well, Brian, I tell you this, we were like, and this was something that we were talking about in the offseason. All the other teams know who they are. They have an identity. So when they get to the regular season, they're building on that identity. This is how I know this, Brian. Watch this. When we watch film, right, we'll see us run trap for like 2 games. We won't run it no more. Or we'll run no more. Or we'll run counter for 2 games. Or we'll be like, oh, we're finally pinning and pulling now like everybody, and we won't run it no more. We'll see this Terrence Steele dart play where he'll pull from backside and hit the front side guys. We'll see. We're figuring this out as we go, Brian.
Yeah,
we're figuring this out as we go.
I hate to look at those sideline shots, and that head coach has got that play sheet that, like we always talk about, all those plays, and you just feel like, that it's like, well, I'm going to try and get through these plays and see how it goes. I'd like to see him come back to some plays.
Sure.
I'd like, all of a sudden, like, you find a way to wear Atlanta out on some plays. I'm not opposed to like, oh, okay, well, D. Alford is not good enough covering you today, at the nickel. Okay. How many, force them to do something to either take D. Alford. Now, I have a feeling you're going to see A.J. Terrell. I have a feeling you're going to see him travel. I don't know if A.J. Terrell is going to travel inside if this thing goes into where, and we know that the Falcons are going to match you with their nickel. They play a ton of nickel. So I right off the jump, I'm going to see where you're at. I'm going to keep putting Lamb in the slot.
Sure.
And if they walk AJ Terrell in there, then I'm going to have to figure something else out. I'm going to have to figure out, okay, where's D. Alford? Where is he in this game? And I'm going to have to figure out a way too. I know a lot of teams double team Matthew Judon. I know they double team him.
Sure.
Dallas, we talked about it, probably not going to double team him as much, but you might want to kind of come up with a game plan like you did against San Francisco, where how you handle Bosa. And I'm not saying Matthew Judon is Bosa, but at least you gave those guys some help.
Sure.
You gave Steele help. You gave Guyton some help, and you were able to kind of get some passes off that way. So I would recommend that they try and do that with the tight end or the back or something, sure, because people have figured out how to kind of block Matthew Judon and keep him from wrecking shop here.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, boy, I was thinking about my first round picks, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the regular season, you don't really think about your first round picks in this kind of way, but you know, we've been getting a lot of draft questions lately, Brian. Like, oh man, it's too early to talk about you. Come on, man. Come on, audience, chill out. Man, Brian, I was thinking about who they were in college. And in my personal opinion, just my own personal opinion, I thought in college Mozzie was the better player than Guyton, but I felt like Guyton had the better skill set than Mozzie.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, which one of these guys, they both been upsetting me a little bit. Which one of these guys do you think is more likely to turn it around? You think, man, if Mozzie, you know, gets another healthy offseason, maybe, gets his confidence up, lifts some weights, figure the technique out, the game slows down. Tyler Guyton, maybe he gets some, you know, maybe he doesn't lunge as much because he's gotten the reps in. Brian, which one of these first round picks has a better opportunity of turning things around?
I think it's Guyton. I think that Mozzie Smith is who Mozzie Smith is. You know, I think Mozzie Smith is a flash player. I feel like that Mozzie Smith is there's things they're asking him to do that he's trying to do, but it's not working out like it should. That the Giants game gave me so much hope that things were going to be better for Mozzie Smith, that pad level was going to be down, knee bend was going to be down. You know, he was going to play in football position. He was going to get rid of blockers. You know, he still is laid off the ball. He still plays too tall. He still gets turned. He doesn't get rid of blockers like he needs to get rid of blockers. And I think you could say defensive tackle as a whole has held this defense hostage. And I say with Mozzie Smith, and I also say with a little bit with Osa Odighizuwa. You know, I expected a lot more from Osa. You know, I expected him to be a disruptive guy. I expected him last week against Banks to be a disruptive player, and he wasn't.
Sure.
I just think as a whole, they're going to have to go back to square one with these defensive tackles. Yeah. It's not going to be now maybe it could be one of those things where all of a sudden it's like, okay, we get to Tuesday and trade deadline and somebody's dangling a defensive tackle that has some years left, not just a 1-year rental, but they've chased this defensive tackle thing and it hasn't worked out. They need to honestly reevaluate. And this is where it also gets a little bit troubling, Voch, is if they make a coaching change and now you have a whole new defensive coordinator, you know, maybe that defensive coordinator comes in and it's like, nah, none of these guys can play.
Yeah.
You know, and now you're really, really back at square one. I think you're at square one anyway, because you're likely going to let Osa walk.
Sure.
You know, Mozzie Smith, you mentioned maybe you find a way, but I think Mozzie Smith is who Mozzie Smith is. Yeah. You know, I think he's going to be an inconsistent player. That Giants game gave me hope. Now I don't. I don't have the hope that I once had. I see some of the things going back to some of the issues that Mozzie had before. But then again, too, I don't see really anybody playing the 1 or the 3 technique and playing it with any type of, where you're just kind of like going, okay, you're set there. I think this thing is all the way back to square one. They might have to, and a new coach might come in and just revamp that whole thing, depending on if it's an offensive coach, whoever that defensive coordinator is, or if it's a defensive coach, he'll probably have an idea of like, this is the scheme I want to run. And then it turns into, okay, we've got to retool completely this defensive tackle room. I kind of feel like that's where they're at right now.
I honestly feel like, Brian, I think we have enough talent at the offensive line unit. I just think something weird is happening with those guys. Like, just like you said, Brian, Aaron Banks ain't good. And look, we evaluate a lot of players, and there's a lot of people that watch our show and they come back and be like, well, Voch, y'all was wrong about XYZ. We were not wrong about Aaron Banks. He ain't good, but he was good against us. He was good against us. Our right tackle, Penning, Trevor Penning, man, Trevor Penning wasn't good. He's good versus us, though, man. A lot of these teams just are good versus us, and they just can overcome nonsense.
Yeah, see, that's what I worry about in this game on Sunday is all of a sudden things that you don't feel like that. If you're a Falcon fan, you're kind of thinking this could be a get-right game.
Onyemata's going to get some sacks.
We don't rush the passer great. We haven't got pressure on anybody all year. Dallas is going to come in and roll into town, and Zach Martin, who never gives up pressures, are going to give up 5.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. That's where I'm at. I mean, it's that part of it that bothers me. That I think all year long there's been times where they're like, hey, if you could take advantage of this team, whether it's the injuries or ability or scheme, they haven't been able to take advantage of. And I folks, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be honest with you here. I'm not trying to like, no, hey, it's okay. I mean, yeah, we'll be fine. There's some things you can do to Atlanta's defense. There are honestly some things you could do to Atlanta's defense, but we haven't seen them with any consistency. We haven't seen Troy Aikman talks about the routes, and the quarterback hasn't been as accurate, and they don't have a running game, and they don't block anybody. And, there's just a lot of that. And it sounds terrible to be doing shows like this, but it's being honest. It's being truthful. It's not trying to, always say blow smoke up your ass. I'm trying to, I think you're doing the same thing. It's like, hey, yeah, can they win this game this weekend? They absolutely could, but they're going to have to do some smoke and mirrors stuff, I think, on defense, and the offense is going to have to come out and play pretty damn well, and take advantage of some of the things that Atlanta has a problems with. Seattle did a great job moving the ball on them, scoring points. These guys will give up some points. They'll give up some yards. You just got to be able to take advantage of that. And I don't know if Dallas is capable of doing that right now.
I agree. Go on.
I got one for you here.
Please.
Biggest fear, not getting enough pressure on Cousins or the Falcons running game.
If we don't stop the run, we got a problem. I think Brian, we actually have the ability to be a solid passing defense. I think we have the ability to do it. I think there's more room for error when you throw the ball against us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and typically when teams throw against us, and they should be running the ball, Brian, but when teams throw against us, I mean, it kind of smooths things over a little bit, man. But when teams run and they run like they supposed to, Brian, man, we don't stand a chance. We don't stand a chance, and there's going to be some Cowboy fans saying, oh, well, Voch, why don't you just roll over and quit? That's just what our defense look like they doing when teams run the ball against us. I mean, you get your high-effort guys every week. You get your Overshones and your Jordan Lewis is a high-effort guy. All those guys are high-effort dudes, man. Chauncey Golston has been a high-effort guy. But, man, it just seems like we don't know what a run play is. We don't know how to come down and thump a puller. We don't know how to fight outside of a sweep. We don't know how to cross face on a down block. Boy, Bryan Broaddus, when they start running the football against us, we look lost. And Bijan is a dude. So good luck to us if we can't stop that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing with him and Tyler Algiers. I mean, I kind of see like a really good 1-2 punch. And I think this year the Cowboys have faced their share of 1-2 punch guys. And that's been a problem. I mean, that Detroit game was especially a problem. I would love to see, speaking of 1-2 punch, maybe this is my hope. I would like to see the Cowboys alternate their backs throughout this game.
Sure.
I mean, I would like to see, okay, we're gonna try a toss sweep here. All right. We got Dowdle, you're in the game. We try and run the toss sweep. Okay, get that done. Okay, maybe throw a ball, then it's another thing. Now we're going to throw the ball, put Zeke in the game. I'm talking about alternate every other play. Zeke goes in the game for some pass protection, maybe catch a ball. Hey, thinking about in this series throwing a screen pass. going to throw it to Dalvin Cook. Oh, hey, it's a short yardage situation. I'm going to hand the ball to Hunter Lipke here. And if you're going to dress all these guys, have an idea, use them as you're playing along, use them like with a plan, with a purpose. Hey, want to maybe run the ball, maybe want to run it to the outside or get it to the edge. Sure. Put Rico Dowdle in the game. Yeah. Hey, we want to run a in between the tackles. Okay, we're going to run it with Zeke here. We're gonna trap play. We're gonna run it with Zeke right here. See if we can pop a trap here. Hey, we're gonna run an inside zone play. Dalvin Cook, or maybe get him to the edge. But I'm just trying to kind of like let's go through this game this week in the running game and try and find something that can work. And maybe in the second half of the game, all of a sudden it's like, well, damn, it looks like Rico Dowdle's got the hot hand. Boom, let's ride that. Let's go. Let's keep, but if it's working, keep mixing it up. That's what that's what the Lions do. Those teams that have these two backs that they interchange them. And every time you look up, there's a different thing that these running backs are doing to kind of help you. And maybe you could find a skill set that these backs, something that they can do. And maybe it's not just, okay, you take a series and you take a series and you take a series. They might all complain that like, well, it's hard to get in a rhythm when you're playing every other play or every third play, but at least you're getting them involved and kind of figuring something out. Where it's like, hey, let's have a plan for if we're going to throw, let's use Zeke. If we're going to run outside, let's use Dowdle. If we're going to run off tackle, let's use, let's use Cooks. Sure. That's kind of, or Cook. That's where I kind of want to see this thing go on Sunday. I don't know if it will. I ask for a lot. I know you're just sitting back, just saying, yeah, keep talking, Brian. I know one thing.
Sure.
If I had a seat at the Cowboy table like I used to way back in 2005, I would say something.
Sure.
Like, I wouldn't just sit there and watch us and me just get frustrated every series because I feel like that we're just wasting opportunities. Right. I'd have a plan. I'd have a plan for these guys. I'd have a plan for these receivers.
Brian, let me ask you what. So listen, because I don't know nothing. I just work for.
And somebody might, and there might be somebody there. Will McClay might be doing that. I'm not in that room anymore. Brian.
He can't be. See, so so where's the Boston College guy? Where's Blasco and them? All these guys are in. All these guys are in on it. This is a coup if they're all in on it, Bryan Broaddus. And Jerry Jones can come on the radio and say, oh, well, what the schemes might be a little trash and garbage. Like where's Robert Prince when this is going on? Where's the guys? Y'all just watching this? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's some good football they call it. We just got to execute. For real?
Yeah. No, you make a perfect point. Because like I say, I know from a pro personnel
Brian,
side.
let me just cut you off one more time. I'm sorry.
No, you're doing great.
Just cut you off. If I'm the defensive coach and I'm breaking down the other teams and I go, damn boy, look at what the Lions doing. When they run that little BS across the hall that they like to do.
Yeah.
When Mike McCarthy love to brag about the across the hall they like to do.
Right.
Where's the linebackers coach going, hey man, why don't y'all do some like the Lions and them do? Why y'all don't do none of that? Where they at? Where's the whole? I know Mike McCarthy's the boss of those guys.
Yeah.
But where they at?
Yeah. I never can figure out how you can have 20 some odd coaches on staff and you're not figuring those things out. If I was a head coach of an NFL team or any team, I saw Andy Reid do this firsthand. I saw Andy do it. I saw John Gruden do it. I saw Sean Payton do it. I saw them take ideas. And to this day, Andy still damn, Andy's got guys watching high school tape. I mean, he's trying to kind of come up with, but I don't know how you can't. I don't know how you can't come up with a better plan of attack.
Sure.
There's somebody said it the other day, and I can't remember who it was. I want to give him credit. It might have been John Machota. He was on with us at 105.3 The Fan. And John's like, this offense, he goes, there's no easy button. It might have been Dave Hellman said that. Dave Hellman said the same thing.
Will still says that a lot too. Yeah.
There's no easy, and Will's a very talented, very, very smart analyst. There's no easy button with this offense. And in most offenses you watch, not all are perfect. I mean, the Jets there's teams struggling, Houston struggling. I mean, but there's no easy button with the Cowboys. And you have players, a Ferguson, a Lamb, you have some easy button players.
Sure.
And everything is just it's
struggle.
It's third and 2. I don't know, man. Hang on. Here we go. We're going to gain a yard here and have to go for it on 4th down. And it's going to be a questionable pass to the flat on 4th down. I mean, it's just, there is nothing there. One time this was kind of easy. This, maybe last year was, after the San Francisco game, after the bye, it was a little bit easy. And maybe it's about the people you're playing. Maybe you're about to get right yourself, with this Atlanta defense. Maybe you're about to get right, but you might be so compromised on defense that a really good offensive outbreak might not be enough. I mean, if guys like Diggs, Diggs ain't playing, Bland ain't playing, Micah ain't playing. I mean, you got guys like I say, we'll see, Kendricks is kind of banged up. I mean, you got all these guys that are just, you don't have all the defensive line, no Tank, no that, you're just no. And you said it, nobody feels sorry for you. But man, something has got to turn around on that offense to give this defense. I think the defense played well enough against the 49ers to give themselves a chance to win.
Sure.
They the last 3 minutes of the game, they gave you the ball back.
Sure.
I don't know. This McCarthy thing, I mean, he's up there talking about, well, this is a very quarterback-friendly offense. It has been for 30 years.
It's false.
And,
it's false.
And you're just like going, really? What's really been easy for this quarterback? And the quarterback hasn't been perfect. He hasn't been perfect. But
he'll be a lot better if the damn scheme was better. So there you go.
I kind of think so too. But I'm sure there's somebody in the comments that I'll read tomorrow morning who says, "Oh, you're covering for the quarterback." No, I'm not. But you know what? You are married to this quarterback for the next 4 years.
Sure.
So whether it's this guy for the next 10, 11 games, or it's somebody else coming in, better figure out this quarterback. That's your guy. That's your guy right now.
Brian, I got one more and we'll adjourn. But I got one more, Brian.
We need another glass of wine.
I do. We was doing the show on Bleacher Report.
Mm-hmm.
The Bleacher Report asked me, Voch, what are 5 Cowboy targets at the trade deadline? I was like, man, we don't trade for nobody.
Yeah.
Cowboys don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But Brian, I was like, all right, Bleacher Report, I'll give you some hypotheticals.
Sure.
And Brian, I kept saying the same thing. I said, you know what? The Panthers are a bad team. We'll go get a player from them. The Dolphins may be a bad team. We'll go get a player. Mm-hmm. This team is a seller.
Yeah.
Brian, somebody in my comments was like, Voch, we're a bad team.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Brian, how far are we from selling at the trade deadline?
No, that's, you know what? That's an interesting question because I was asked this the other day on our show, the G-Bag Nation on 105.3 The Fan. I was asked the question of, okay, you become sellers. Are you interested in taking 6th and 7th round picks for guys? Or are you really interested in moving guys and trying to get 3s and 4s out of the deal?
If I truly become a seller,
Yeah.
I'll take some 4s and 5s
Yeah.
because I've seen in the draft where I can package a 3 and a 4 and move up a little bit where I want.
Okay. All right.
And we
Yeah.
got 10 picks to work with. But in real life, Brian, if I'm gonna trade somebody, like if I'm truly selling,
yeah,
I'm looking at moving Osa.
Yeah.
I'm looking at moving like Bland. Somebody can give me something back, like something.
See,
real
that's
back.
there you go. There you go. And you know, and you can name names, but they asked me at a point, and I'm like, guys, are you interested in getting a bag of balls and a ham sandwich, or are you interested in getting a 3rd round pick? Right. So if you're going to be a seller, you're going to have to determine, you know, what players on your roster would people want. And the question I would ask you, Voch, you're a pro personnel director for another team. You're the pro personnel director for the New Orleans Saints. Get you close to home. You're a pro personnel director for the Saints. What Cowboy players would you want?
So we have to make sense here, right? Because Cowboys,
we're not. I mean,
Cowboys not
now. If you want to offer me, if you want to come after Micah and some others, you just know okay. But tell me who you would want if you were another NFL team.
I don't think the Cowboys would be opposed to moving Micah. I just don't think they'll get the draft capital enough to move him. I think the most realistic dudes you could possibly move. Trey just got paid, but I think it's Bland. I think it's Osa. They're all on rookie deals still. Right. They're players that can play. And that might be your only two that's like worth something for real. Because I'm not moving on from Tyler Smith. Like if it's me,
right?
I think he's a cornerstone.
You'd move Steele, wouldn't you?
I don't think nobody would give you like if somebody wants to give you a 5.
Where do you think somebody would there be enough tape to get a 4th or 5th round pick for TJ Bass?
I don't think you get a 4th or a 5th for Bass. I think you'll more likely get a 4th or a 5th for a Terrence Steele. For Bass, I mean, Bass might be one of those guys.
So Bass falls into the 6-7 range then, right?
No, Brian, I think Bass is one of those guys where teams like him, but they'll wait till you get rid of him, then they'll just get him for free.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Connor McGovern's one of those guys too. They won't give you a pick for him. They'll just wait. Connor Williams, another guy like that. We'll go, man, nobody wants Connor Williams and Connor McGovern. They get scooped up immediately and they got jobs. I think Osa and Deron Bland are the only ones that move the needle for you.
Would you consider trading Ferguson?
Sure.
So you're open. You're open. You're not. There's not an untouchable list of players. You mentioned like an untouchable. I think would be Tyler Smith would be untouchable.
Tyler Smith, Overshown, just young guys. Tyler Smith, Overshown. I think your rookie class this year is kind of untouchable or whatever because they're this year's rookie class. I think those are your only untouchable young guys, like your rookie deal untouchable young guys, Overshown and Tyler Smith, and that might be your best linebacker and your best offensive lineman.
Yeah. If you're going to do this, if you're going to really be sellers, go be a seller.
Go get picks.
Don't try and be like, yeah, we'll give you a bag of balls and a conditional 2028 pick.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I need, but I would be open. I would be open to you talking to me about moving guys.
Because
you know what? I'm not going to say. You can ask me. What's somebody going to? What are they going to say? No. Okay. Yeah. How about this guy? Okay. Now we're talking.
Because look, Brian. Here's my gripe. Right. This is what I learned when I was doing that show, Bleach Report. Right. I learned that Tony Pollard only netted you like a 6-round comp pick.
Compensatory pick, right?
A 6-round comp pick. Ask yourself, in the middle of the season when Tony Pollard is Tony Pollard, what kind of draft pick can you get back for him? That's what I like to ask myself. So Osa in comp picks may get you a 5 or a 6. I think if you trade Osa straight up with a rookie deal, I think you can get a 3 or 4.
Yeah. I could say, people might look at Osa and they think that, well, he plays really well for 13 games, and then man, he's not been very good this year.
How about DaRon Bland, record breaker, all pro type of guy? He was in the running for player of the year on defense. Hey, what about that guy?
Yeah, and that guy you're probably going to have to pay.
Sure. Sure.
There's a side of me that's going to wonder if they don't pay Bland. Did they pay the wrong guy with Diggs?
I don't think they paid the wrong guy with Diggs.
Okay.
I don't think they paid the wrong guy with. I think Diggs. I don't know what's going on with this defense this year. I don't know what's going on with the team.
I think Diggs played his ass off the other day. I mean, I get why he was a little hot under the collar.
Sure.
But there's always this Dallas. There's going to be a whole nother day for this conversation.
Sure.
Of second contracts.
And just for clarity, if we're a winning team, I would love to keep DaRon Bland. I want to keep him regardless. I just want to know what draft capital can I get back. Because if I really want a second or a third, DaRon Bland is the type of name it's going to take to get back. Osa, on the other hand, I don't think Osa's contributed enough any of the years that he's here. And I think he's a guy that you can move on from. He's not an all-pro.
I totally agree with you, man. If we're sitting in that front office, the suggestion I would make if they asked me was, listen, if you really want to move some guys, let's move some guys and let's get some quality picks for this. Maybe not every single guy we're going to get a quality pick for, but let's talk about moving on for some guys and try and really, if we're going to be draft and develop.
Sure.
But man, you know what this team needs to be better at? Second contracts.
Yep.
Second contracts. Because that game right now is failing them a little bit.
Yeah. And we'll end it there, Bryan Broaddus. I agree with everything you said, man. The second contract been whooping us.
I'm glad you won. I mean, I'm glad because usually when you get into this let's be sellers game,
sure,
nobody wants to really be a seller. They just let's see what we can get for Turpin.
Nobody's going to give you anything for those guys. Just me watching and looking how this stuff kind of goes. You have to be like Deontay Johnson would be the second best receiver on this team, and they swapped the 5th and the 6th for him. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to be realistic with trading stuff. And if you're truly selling, trying to truly tear it down and get picks back and semi-start over, you're going to have to move guys like Osa and Bland. You're not going to move your youngest guys or your oldest guys. Like nobody's going to want Tank Lawrence like that. If you want a day 2 pick, you got to move some young dudes you don't want to move.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like I say, if you're going to be a seller, go be a seller. Yeah. Don't no interest in going to get bags of balls and and a ham sandwich. Yeah. Give me some stuff that I can really go get and make it worth my while, and I'll be happy to discuss that with you. So, hey, looking forward to being with you. How about this? We've got that game. It's a noon game. So that means it's over. I get done at 6 o'clock.
We can knock that out early, Bryan Broaddus.
You and I, before a couple of old men we could sit there and we can after the Cowboy game at a little after 6 o'clock Central Time. You and I can talk about what we saw from the ATL.
We could do a show, watch the night game and go to bed on time, boy. What a time.
Man, I cannot wait. I feel so tired right now, but it's a good tired. This is where we're at.
I'm about to go have another drink, Bryan Broaddus.
I know you are. Hey, salute to you, sir. Salute to everybody out there that takes in our show. We love you, man. Thank you, guys.
We love y'all to pieces, man. We're going to give y'all an early-ass post-game show, win, lose, or draw on Sunday. And Brian's going to have some more beers. I'm going to have some more wine. Love y'all.
I'm good, man. I'm going to bed. I'm so tired right now. I'm going to bed.
Hey, y'all tap in with me at the Voch Lombardi. Y'all tap in with here. Bryn Broaddus on social medias. All right? We love y'all to pieces. We'll catch you next time. Crown.